Howdy guys, welcome back. Matt from Bam Ranch. What I want to talk about today, as I was scrolling through the internet and scrolling through YouTube while I should have been doing something worthwhile with my life, I noticed that everything is talking about some kind of cool gear. Something, you need this, the top 5 items, or the best EDC knife, or the best survival knife, the best bug out bag, and you need the 511 and the Benchmade, and you need this brand new rifle that they just came out with, or top upgrades to your pistol. And I really got to thinking about that, and this isn't necessarily my idea. I think I heard this first from Lucas Bodkin at T-Rex Arms. But concerning this whole gear whoring, the whoring of gear, I guess, for lack of a better word, makes me think about what he said, and that was noobs talk about gear, amateurs talk tactics, and professionals talk logistics. That's always stuck with me, and I think it's important. So let's discuss that right quick. Let's take it into, let's kind of narrow it down a little bit to just firearms, because that, as always, seems like there's something cool to buy with that. So you first get into firearms, and it's funny how you go through these stages, and this isn't just with firearms, it's with everything, business, all that stuff. So you very first get into, the whole firearms game, and sorry, my water bottle crinkling around. And you read all this stuff, you watch all these videos about this, the ultimate firearm, and you got to get the perfect rifle and the perfect sling, and there's 10,000 different slings, and the lights, it's, I have to be surefire, and you go and you buy this, and LVPO, and red dots with magnifiers, and the list goes on and on. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you buy all of that stuff, and the problem is, I think a lot of us, and I was this way too, so many of us get caught in this trap of just whoring over gear. And most of us never progress past that. Well, after a while, most people, they move on to, okay, well, now I've got this stuff, so I need to learn how to use it. And you'll go and you'll take some training, right? Or maybe if you're not taking training, you're actually getting out and maybe trying to run some drills, run some shooting drills that you found from, there's 1,000 different, places that are good to get them from. And you start, learning about CQB and, long range shooting, and how to, access your gear and do, super fast reloads, and, was the Mozambique drills, and you do all this stuff. And that's the amateur level, where you start to get into the tactics of things. Well, a little bit after that, very few people tend to progress, and I don't know why. And there's somebody riding a motorcycle over there. They're going to disturb us here in a minute, but that's okay. But after that, you start to look at logistics, and with the logistics, is the guy that's sees the whole huge picture of all this. And he's already got his gear. He's already, somewhat educated himself on his tactics. And he looks at this CQB situation. He's like, when the world ends of the CQB, he's like so far away from ever wanting to do CQB. Canadian geese. It's that time of year they're coming through. It's a bunch of them. Can you see them? Right. I don't know if you can see them. But you know, there's no way that the guy who's focused on that professional level of logistics is going to send a bunch of the closest people to him, you know, his maybe family, you know, best friends. What situation are you going to want those guys to go and do some CQB raid in the end of the world? You know, maybe, I guess, if you have to, you know, rescue, you know, your child or something. But there's just not that many cases where CQB makes sense. You look at SWAT teams and they'll sit for, you know, 20 hours outside of a house, you know, and there's 6 guys that go in, but there's another 40 guys on site, and there's ambulances and fire trucks and negotiators, and there's all of this stuff. And it's so huge of a logistics issue to set up one, you know, 5-minute CQB raid. And as, you know, looking at this from a preparedness aspect, I just don't see a whole lot of reasons why we would need to do that. I'm not going to say there's not, but let's look at the possible losses that we could take from that. You know, that'd be devastating. You know, and then the long range shooting, you know, and everybody loves to make the 1,000-yard shots. You know, we love that kind of stuff. But then the guy looking at the bigger picture, looking at the logistics end of things, you know, does something really need to be shot whenever it's a half a mile away? You know, I guess there's probably a scenario for that. I don't know. But more so than just choosing what tactic needs or does not need to be used is, you know, you've got some guys out that are, you know, surveying your area, hypothetically. What kind of radios do they have? Do they all have the same frequency? Who's in charge of the batteries for them? How much are they going to eat? Who's going to do the repairs on their clothing? Who's going to replace them? If you're running a security team, it takes hundreds of people just to secure an area the size of a football field. So these are logistics issues that I think, you know, we need to move on and at least kind of do our best to progress to that level. You can go and spend $250 on a knife when the knife you actually need is the one in your pocket. You know, can I smash this through, you know, a big log? Just a second, there's a car driving by. Okay, I think they're gone now. Can you smash this through a big log and make a huge bonfire? Probably, but do you need to? You know, your fixed blade knife, you know, what you need what you actually need is a Mora or whatever knife it was that you cut up your bell peppers with. If you want to smash it through a log to make a bonfire for your, you know, to keep you progressing and earning points in the survival game, that's cool. But how about make a wedge and a baton and split up your wood that way? And then, oh, well, I've got my wood split. Now I need to get a fire starter of some kind, and you know, you make the bird nest and you build it up in the teepee, and then you want to move the coals down to Dakota pit, and then all of this. The logistics guy says, you know what, I've got a pocket full of Bic lighters that I'm going to use to light my little pocket camp backpacking stove, and that's going to dry out all the wood I need, and it's not going to take hardly any time at all. And for that matter, I'm on the move. I'm just boiling some water so I don't die from drinking it, and I'm getting the heck out of there. So anyway, I want you to think about this stuff. You know, noobs talk about gear, amateurs talk logistics. I'm sorry, noobs talk about gear, amateurs talk tactics, and professionals talk logistics. See what you can do to start thinking about logistics, and let the logistics decide the tactic that's needed, and let the tactic decide what gear you need. Well, anyway, until next time, y'all think about that and y'all be safe.